Good rest day, working moms, and welcome back to So This Is Motherhood. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my postpartum healing journey, postnatal depletion, and some things that I do for self-care as a working mom. Stay tuned. Happy Sunday, working moms! My name is Kayla, and this is my vlog, So This Is Motherhood. If you are new here today, and this is your first time tuning in, I just want to say thank you so very much for clicking and for choosing to spend your Sunday with me. I'm going to need you to hit that like button, hit that big red subscribe button, and definitely hit that notification bell. That way you can be notified about new content that I will be posting for you guys every Sunday at 12 noon. And now, without further ado, I'm going to just jump right in, and I am going to spill the tea about all things postpartum. Okay, so I may have said postpartum with a smile, but let's just dive right into the nitty-gritty here. Postpartum in this country sucks balls, okay? If you guys look in like other cultures, especially in like the Asian cultures, African cultures, Mexican cultures, all indigenous peoples, they treat the postpartum period, whether it's 30 days, 40 days, 60, 90, or 100 days, it is a very sacred time between the mother and her newborn. Like, she is to do nothing during that sacred time. She is just there to be loved on, and the baby is supposed to be loved on. She is just to feed that baby and maybe change food diapers, but she is not to leave her house. She is to be pampered. She is to be cooked for, massaged, given special healing herbal baths, just having her belly wrapped and loved. Family comes from all over to cook for her, clean for her, give her everything she needs. They really know how to nurture the new mom. Something that Western medicine does not do for us. Whether it be here in America, or I just talked to a mom in Australia recently. She's really got no help. I'm not sure about the UK, but you guys get the drift. Basically, in cultures where women take care of women, they have better outcomes. I follow an amazing Instagrammer and podcaster by the name of MAGA Mamas. She wrote this amazing book called The Fourth Trimester. It's officially titled The Fourth Trimester by KIMBERLY And one of the things she said in one of her podcasts was postpartum depression, which by the way happens to one in every 5 or 1 in every 7 women here in the United States. She says postpartum depression is just an excuse for cultural disappointment and cultural letdown. And I couldn't agree more with that. While I did have a decent amount of help with Baby Virgo, it was just not having that person helping me. You know what I mean? It was always like, well, what do you need? Well, I didn't know what I needed. You know, I just thought you're just supposed to just get back up on that high horse and just, you're supposed to be super mom, and that is not the case. That actually led to me not healing very well. And with all of Baby Virgo's issues, he had torticollis, he was colicky from being tongue and lip tied, and I thank God every day for my Facebook breastfeeding groups. Had I not known, I would not have known that he had, a tongue and a lip tie if it had not been for my breastfeeding groups on Facebook. So I don't care what anybody says, the internet saved my breastfeeding relationship with my son. Because when we were breastfeeding, it hurt, okay? I mean, like, I dreaded breastfeeding because it was so painful. I mean, sometimes I got used to it, but there were times where it was just like I dreaded it, especially on my left breast. When he first latched on, he made me bleed, and this was in the hospital, but then it got better, so I thought, oh, everything was fine. I couldn't figure out why oh, hey, Bubba. I couldn't figure out why he was so sleepy all the time, and why, like, he would nurse for like 15-20 minutes and then still be so tired, and then he would be so hungry afterwards. I didn't understand it. And as you can see, Baby Virgo is up to his usual climbing tricks. So anyway, like I was saying, I couldn't figure out why, he would seem to be so crying, so hungry, and I would tell my husband, he sounds like he's in pain when he's crying, and he's like, no, he's just a difficult baby and all this and that and the third, and I'm like, no, he's crying like he's in pain. Well, here he also had torticollis. His head was like this the whole time, and I kept trying to like straighten it, and I felt so much resistance. And I was like, ooh, I need to get that addressed. So I looked it up, and he had torticollis, and they were recommending surgery and all this stuff. And I'm like, no, there has to be an easier way. So again, I reached out to Facebook, and then of course I reached out to a mom that I highly, you know, idolize in a way. She has 8 children, and she was like, chiropractor, just go to the chiropractor. And we went to the chiropractor, and sure enough, it healed his torticollis. And then we were referred to craniosacral and myofascial therapy. That really helped a lot with his sucking, and it got better. And then our and after we got his tongue and lip ties revised, breastfeeding just took off for us. So I'm really, really thankful for that. But to just have a screaming, crying, colicky, irritable, unhappy baby every night for 3 weeks, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. like clockwork, and I'm thinking, oh, I can't, I'm like feeding him and breastfeeding him, and like he's like breastfeeding, going to sleep, and I didn't understand it. And here, like, I would try to arouse him to breastfeed more, and like he wouldn't be aroused, and it was just awful. It really did a number on me mentally, and I'm just gonna be honest, it was really rough, and I was just angry. I was like, why is this happening to me? What did I do to deserve such a difficult child? Like, it was really, really hard for me, you know? So I'm really thankful again for my breastfeeding groups, because they really helped save our breastfeeding journey. Of course, speaking of breastfeeding, happy breastfeeding week out there to all you nursing mamas. I'm proud to say that as of today, August 4th, 2019, we are almost 23 months strong into the breastfeeding journey. I can't believe that Baby Virgo will be 2 next month. I cannot believe it, y'all. So anyway, back to my postpartum story. So, you know, I drove within, I want to say a week after giving birth, which I was not supposed to, but I did it anyway. And still not going to go into that one. That's a whole nother issue for a whole nother time. So I just did a lot of things that weren't right, that a lot of other cultures would be like shocked to hear about, you know. But, you know, that's America. We do what we got to do. If you aren't bouncing back, then like you feel like you're a bad mom. Like you feel like you have to do all these things. So, that was my postpartum experience. It eventually got better with Anakin, aka Baby Virgo, not crying so much. However, I want to say 4 months ago, like, it was really, really getting to me. Like, the breastfeeding, the crying, he wasn't really on his schedule. I was just frustrated, you know, always worried about money and everything else, like just typical mom stuff. But I had stopped. I never got my prenatal vitamin refilled, because I thought I was eating right and all this other stuff, and here I actually wasn't. So I ended up just making a shout out to some of my peeps in my mom group. I was like, is it possible to still have postpartum depression 18 months later? And everyone said, of course. They said, but at this point, it's actually called postnatal depletion. So I started doing some research on that. And postnatal depletion is just where you are, literally what it is. It doesn't really reach its peak until 24 months postpartum. Yes. So anyway, at that point, if you look at what postnatal depletion is, it's actually very common, especially when you don't heal as well as we do here in America compared to other cultures where we don't, you know, where we aren't pampered, where they don't nourish and mother the mother. It's basically something that sometimes does not peak until 2 years postpartum, and you're just so overworked, you're so overwhelmed, you're so exhausted, and your reservoirs aren't being nourished properly. You know, you aren't doing enough self-care and things of that nature. And come to find out, it's really common. There's actually a book written about it called The Postnatal Depletion Cure, which I have not had the pleasure of buying yet, but I will very soon. So someone reached out to me and they said, you know, hey, you need to try RASA tea. It's an adaptogenic herbal tea, and it is life. Yes. And I just thought it was all poo, and it is not poo. Oh my Lord. As within 24 to 48 hours of me drinking a cup, and I just drink 1 cup a day, I was rejuvenated. Mom brain was gone. The fog was lifted from my head. I could see clearly, and I felt so nourished. And here I am. I've been using it, I want to say, for, Papa. I've been using it, hey. I've been using it for like 3 or 4 months now. A package I buy lasts me about 6 to 8 weeks. So I've been using that, and I've got more energy, I'm more motivated, I'm more focused, and I'm able to provide this amazing content for you lovely ladies every week. It's been amazing. I highly recommend it. You can buy it from www.wearerasa.com, and you can see that link flash across that screen there. It is not a promoted, this is not a sponsored video in any way. I swear by this stuff, and I will be recommending it to all my mamas in the future that will be having children very soon. RASA tea is life. I'm going to make that a hashtag, RASA tea is life. So, but as far as my postpartum healing is concerned, I had a lot of anger and resentment, you know, towards my husband, which apparently is common. But even still, like, I was still pretty angry with him about some things, and it's not easy to admit or say, but at one point I think I definitely reached a postpartum psychosis, to where I was contemplating leaving him. And that's not easy for me to admit either, but I was literally looking up ways of like how to make money online, so that, and how to get a passport for Baby Virgo without him signing for it, so that way we could leave the country, because I just did not feel that support. And I had my moms around me, my mom groups, but a lot of them seemed to be so happy in marriage, and like they had the perfect husband and the perfect partner that understood and respected their needs, and I'm just like, why don't I have that? But you know, you come to find out, one second. But of course, you know, come to find out that, you know, not everybody's always so happy and truthful, you know, like they make it out to be. Everybody's lives on Facebook, you know, is different than what's really going on the inside, you know. So I just kept it all in, and after I was blessed to drink that RASA tea, things really opened up for me, and I'm really glad that I got a hold of that. And I swear by it, truly. So, but as far as my postpartum healing is concerned, that has become a multi-step process. I searched high and low for someone to do a traditional rebozo massage, where they literally wrap you from head to toe in a blanket after your 40 days. It's a Mexican tradition. I have not had that pleasure of finding someone skilled in that, so I made an appointment at a local womb healness clinic. It's literally called the Womb Wellness Center. It's about an hour from where I live, and I received a postnatal massage, and the woman who did my body work was amazing. She identified damage to my sacrum after giving birth, which is what I had been telling people, that I feel like my son broke my coccyx. So it was nice to finally get that legit confirmation, you know. She found a lot of scar tissue from the damage of childbirth, and also probably from birthing on my back. And y'all know what I'm talking about. And yeah, she broke up all that scar tissue, and oh my God, did that hurt like hell. But it was what I needed. It really was what I needed. Like, a lot of my lower back pain went away shortly after that. And I was able to identify that my tailbone was actually bent. Yeah, she said it wasn't like a full 90 degrees bend, so that's a good thing. She recommended for me to get a tailbone manipulation done by a chiropractor or a DO. So I will be having that done on Monday, and I hopefully will get all the relief that I need and all of the things. So I'm very, very glad, even though, like, as I learn more about, like, postpartum practices in other cultures and, like, the sacred ceremonies and things of that nature, even though it makes me angry, I find a lot of healing and solace in just learning. Just knowing that, like, my intuition was right, and that, you know, the way my body was feeling was indeed because I have gone through a trauma. My body has gone through a trauma of giving birth, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just means that we have to do better for our women in Western medicine, and I'm hoping that eventually I'm able to make a difference in that. I want to do a lot more healing, like learning how to be a healer. I want to learn all of the things about TCM, traditional Chinese medicine. I want to learn all of the things about Ayurveda medicine. I want to learn all of the things about herbalism, so that way I can be a healer in my community, so that way I can bless other women and, you know, give them the postpartum healing that they truly need and truly deserve. And eventually I'm going to be taking classes online to be a postpartum doula, hopefully by next year. I've already started to make a little bit of a difference. I mean, granted, you don't have to be certified to be a doula. I just would feel better having that certification, knowing that I know what I'm talking about. I just have a cousin down in Cincy who has recently given birth, and I gave them a lot of advice about postpartum healing because I don't want anyone to go through what I went through, which has a horrible postpartum healing experience. And I do have another cousin, a cousin-in-law, who is due in September. She's due on September 17th with her first child. And I gave her a lot of advice on postpartum healing. So she says she's going to do all of that and take into consideration. And I know she's already made some huge headway in buying her herbs. So I'm very much excited. So anyway, I remember when I first heard about postnatal depletion, you know me, I'm the researcher. I had to do all of this research about it. So I actually listened to a 5-part webinar type series thing that's here on YouTube. All you have to do is just type in postnatal depletion webinar. And it's like 5 or 6 parts, and it was very educational. Unfortunately, a lot of the things I was just like, I can't really do. Like, I can't find time to work out, but truly, I don't work out. It does not bring me joy. I know it brings you happiness, but I work so much at work. It's a workout. So I didn't see the point of working out. I mean, just yesterday, well, the other day, I should say, I hauled 700 pounds of EMT up 2 flights of stairs. So 700 feet, 700 pounds. Pretty sure that's more of a workout than I'll ever need in my lifetime, let me tell you. But I get a lot of cardio, a lot of lifting, I do a lot of bending, stretching, and I do a lot of lifting, like I said, so I definitely get more than my fair share of working out by going to work 40 hours a week. So, but one of the things that they definitely kept highlighting on, and I hate hearing this, but I know it's the truth, self-care. So, in a nutshell, I just need to find time to do things that I like to do to make me happy, to make me just be present in my body. And for some of those things for me, when I get laid off from a contractor, it's crocheting gifts for people, especially if they're small projects that I can do in 1 or 2 weeks in the evening while Baby Virgo is sleeping. And another one for me is my dreadlocks. As you can see, they're still pretty small, but they are locked for the most part, and just doing my hair every day, well, not every day, but just looking forward to retwisting my starters is a great form of self-care for me, just knowing that I'm treating my hair right and it is growing. It's not just suffocating and balding and all this other stuff. I am not confident about my edges though, and but I did buy this new growth serum. It's called GS by Sedora. It was like $24.99. And I've been massaging it in my hair 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday nights for 10 minutes. So I will hopefully give you guys an update on any growth as my vlogs progress and as you guys stay tuned. So if it isn't on my locks, it is you know, getting my edges back is a form of self-care for me. That massage was self-care for me. I definitely want to do that more often. Just so I can feel good and be present in my body. And oddly enough, just like meal prepping, just having that form of like less stress in my life, knowing that like my meals are ready so I don't have to think, I can just grab and go or unfreeze and freeze, has been a huge blessing for me as far as self-care is concerned. So self-care can be anything you want it to be, and for me it's whatever keeps me sane, and like just not having the right meal plans does not keep me sane. So I'm very, very grateful for this road and this journey that I'm on with self-care, and I hope it continues as I continue to heal postpartum. Well, so there you have it, working moms. That is my entire postpartum healing journey. Obviously, it's still a long way to go, but I hope you guys stay tuned as I share with you little updates as I continue on this journey. So if you enjoyed this content, hit that like button, hit that big red subscribe button, and definitely hit that notification bell. That way you can be notified about the new content that I upload for you working moms every Sunday at 12 noon. And if you want to connect with me on Instagram, definitely check out my handle. It's up there in that corner over here. I am currently laid off from my contracting job, but I will be doing some side work until then. But I do post there pretty much daily. And until next week, bye-bye. Bye-bye, Baby Virgo.